Hello everyone. This video is for the tools room for the SBRC 2023, and I will try to help you to explain you how to install and run IDIT-SDN. So the first step to continue with this video is to access the GitHub repository that you can find it here in this link. So after this, what you have to do is to open the installation guide. I have it here, downloaded. So in the first page, you will find the content of this guide. Then you will have an introduction to what is IDIT-SDN. And then you will find the first step, in this case, the requirements to get all the packets and all the codes and all the programs that you will need to use this tool. So let's start with the first step, which is obtain Contiki OS. So for this, we are providing you the link to access to download this code. So let me copy here. And well, let me access this link. Oh, sorry, let me go back. To obtain this operating system. In this link, you can find the source code for Contiki 3.0. You can download any of these. I already have this source code .zip, so well, you can download it here, and then you will have it such as I have it here in my downloads folder. You will see something like this. Okay, so the next step is to extract this folder, and then you have to paste the folder in the home and username, your username here folder. So let me do this. You can do it in terminal, or you can do it here directly in the downloads folder. So let me move to home, and that's all. The next step is to obtain this MSP SIM, which will be necessary to emulate the MSP 430. Okay, so for this, you can access this link. And you need to download all this code. So you can access here and download as zip. Okay, so I have it here in downloads. So let me extract this folder. Okay, so let's go back to the installation guide. What you have to do is to unpack this code in this directory in tools in Contiki. Okay, so let's do it. So this content, I'm gonna move to the folder Contiki 3.0, then tools, and then MSP SIM. Okay, and the next step is to obtain Java. Here we are providing you two different ways to obtain it, but it is important to install the end. Then you have to install Java 8. I already have this version installed in my computer, but something important to check is this part here. So let me show to you what you have to see in this part. When you already have the OpenJDK 8, so what you have to do is to run this command, and you will see something like this probably. This is the version that you have to install, in that it needs to be selected. If you don't have something like this, or you don't have selected this specific version, what you can do is to just type here the number that you have here. In this case, in my case, is number 2. So in this, you have to press enter. So this is how I selected this version of Java. Okay. And then after this, what you have to do is to compile the Kuja simulator. This is the simulator that we use for this framework. So let's go to this path. Let's see. Okay, so then when you access this path, you need to type this command. Okay. So if everything is okay, you will see something like this. You will see this interface. And if you need more information about Kuja, you can access this link. Okay. So with this part, we finished the Contiki and Kuja installation. So the next step is to obtain IDIT-SDN. For this, you can access this link. This is the same link that we access where we obtain the installation guide. So we will go here, and in this part, you can download the code, and then you will see something like this in the downloads folder, something like this. Okay. So let's go back to the installation guide. It is important to obtain the JCC toolchain. So, well, to obtain this toolchain, this is the command that you have to run. Okay, so you need to install all these packets. I already have these packets in my computer, so I will skip this part. But if you need more information, you can access this link here. Okay. What I'm going to do is to unzip this folder and then copy to home. Let me change the name and then copy to home. Okay. So the next step is to obtain Qt framework. Qt framework is what we use to implement the controller PC. This is the controller server that will be running with our wireless sensor networks and all the nodes that will provide the configuration of the control plane. So for this, here you can download this version, the 5.9 version of Qt, which I already test. And well, let me go to this link. So here you can download this version, the Qt open source Linux 5.9 run. Okay, so you will see something like this in the downloads folder. And what you have to do is, well, let me open a terminal here. First, you have to check if you can execute this link. So for me, it's okay. So the next step is to execute the link. When I execute the link, you just have to follow the installation. You can skip this part. This folder is okay for our purpose. So next, you have to mark here Qt for 5.9, and then just agree to the terms and install. So this will take a few moments, so let me pause the video and I will be back when it finished. Okay, so here you have to finish. So then you will see something like this. Okay, this is the interface that we will use to execute the controller server, controller PC code. Okay, let me go back to the installation guide. Well, this is important also to execute in the terminal. Without this, you will have some problems, maybe some errors when executing the code in Qt. Okay, so the third part is, or the third part in this document is the IDIT-SDN compilation. So for this, you will have to follow these steps here. The first thing you have to do is to change the path that you will have in the make files, and you will have to change probably just the username. Okay, because you already have this path but without another username. So let me open here the code. You will see something like this when you open IDIT-SDN folder. So you have to go to applications, and in the folder applications, you will find this make file, the controller node, enable node, and intrusion node. Here in this part, in the first line, you will find the path to find Contiki. So what you have to do is to check if this path is the right path to access Contiki. Probably you will have to change the username. Okay. This is the same that you have to do with these three make files. Okay. So when you already have this set, what you have to do is to test if you can compile the code. For this, let me open the terminal, and we have to go to IDIT-SDN applications. So then here, what you have to do is to execute this command to compile, and you will see something like this. Okay. If after the compiling you receive something like this means that everything was okay. This is the size of the code for all the code that we compile. The next step is to compile controller PC. Okay. So in this case, you will see something like, let me go to Qt. You will have to go to Qt, then to open project. You will go to IT-SDN, to controller server, and before going here, this is something that you have to do. Okay, so let's go back to the installation guide. In this case, you need to create this document in case you don't have it. Let me show you. Yes, this one here. So this is probably already in the folder that you have, but you have to check the path that this is in this document. So let me go here to Sublime, right? In controller server, controller PC, and controller PC Pro Contiki. So you have to check this path. You will have to change the username in this case. So in my case, it is already configured. So let's go back to Qt. Here, I will select this one, and you will see something like this. What you have to do is to configure the project. And after a few seconds, you will see this green bar here, okay? Then what you have to do is to, well, you can clean. And after cleaning, you have to build all. So you will see something like this here. This is 6.5, well, warnings, but it is okay. And if you obtain this green bar, this means that everything was compiled. Okay. So let's go back. Then, well, what we can do in this case is to try to simulate an example of IDIT-SDN. And for this, I included this file in the GitHub repository. This is so that you can have an example to test the framework. So let's do this part. First, we will go to Kuja, and in Kuja, you have to go to Open Simulation. In Open Simulation, let me find here, well, let me go to Home. In Home, you will go, in this case, to User, IDIT-SDN, Simulation, and here you will find these two files. Any of these, you can try any of these, both are examples. This is the format for Contiki or for Kuja simulation files, CSC. So let me open this. So you will see something like this. This is a 36 nodes to topology. Here you have two sinks, number 2 and number 39, and the controller node, but this is the node that will be connected to the controller server. Then you have all these nodes that are data creating. These are sensor nodes, but among all these nodes, you will have 3 that will behave as attackers. This is the 40, 41, and 42. Okay. So what you have to do to start the simulation is to connect Qt, where you will have the controller server, with Kuja, where you will have the wireless sensor networks. So let's go back here to Qt. You will have to play. And after you press play, you will have this interface here, which is the connection interface. If you have the right port here, it will connect it automatically. But if not, you will have to select here the port, which is the same port that you have here, and then you have to connect. Okay, in this case, it connected automatically. So how you know that the connection was successfully? Well, what you can check is here in the status, you will see connected, and it will be in green. Okay. So after this, you can start simulation. Let me just put it here in 100. But you can use the speed limit that you prefer, but in this case, I will use 100. So you have the connection. So let's start. So you will see that here is not following the speed limit that I set, but this is because here in the backwards there is a script running. So I can press again and let me see, right? Okay. So here you have the mode output, and here in Qt, in the application output, you will see the output of the controller server. Okay. So this is how you run a simulation using Kuja with the graphic interface. But for this framework, it is common to have simulations of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours, because we have to do a training for the detection algorithm, for the anomaly detection. And then after this training, we can start with the detection. So what I commonly do is to run the simulation without the graphic interface. And for this, what I did was to, well, what we do is to use the script that allows Kuja to run in backwards. So you can configure all the, you can set all the configuration to for your simulation, and then it can run in the backwards without the graphic interface. So I also have one example for this, and let me show you how to do it. So here you can pause, you can close here. I don't have to save this. You can close here Qt. And then let me show you how to use the script. So here in 4.4 section, you can, here are the instructions to use Kuja using the graphic interface. And then in 4.5, you can follow the instructions using the script. So the script is already in the folder of IDIT-SDN. You can find it here in folder simulation. So the first thing that you have to do is to open this path simulation, and you have to check all these. So probably you will have to change some, for example, here the user. Let me change this. And also the Qt, we're using 5.9. We're not using 5.8. So you have to change this. Let me see if there is something else. This is okay. So let me find the right path to QMake. Okay, you can go here, Qt, then 5.9, then GCC, and Bing. Okay, so this is the path that you need. You will paste it here. Okay, then this is the next one. I think that you only have to change this, but let me, you can check this here. This is the rename. I mean, this is a trick. Okay. Okay, I think that that's all. All the other configuration is okay. So after this, you can go to, okay, we were here. So you can go to run simulations. So in run simulations, you will have some parameters that you can change. For example, the minimal iteration and max iteration. This is the number of simulations that you will run. For example, it will start in number 1 and it will end in number 3. And this parameter here is the number of instances of Kuja that you will open in parallel. So this is something important, but for in case here I have configured to use 3 instances. So something that I have to do is to provide the Contiki folders to run 3 in parallel. So what I'm going to do is to, let's go to home, and I have to do 3 copies of this folder. And then you have to change the name using this nomenclature. The first one is 3.01. The second one is 3.02. And the last one is 3.03. Okay, so that's all. Then in this case, I will run a 36 nodes topology during 5 hours. Okay, and the topology that I will run is this one, but these values are not, you cannot put any value that you want. You have to put a value of a simulation environment that you have prepared before. So these values are the ones that matches with the number of the simulations. Okay, so let me explain you how you use this these parameters according to the name of the simulation. So this is here. In this line, you can set the nomenclature that you will use for your simulations. Okay, so here, this is common for all of my simulations, IT-SDN, which is the framework that we use to develop IDIT-SDN. Here, this is the first parameter, the number of nodes, and here is the second parameter, which is the topology. So I can vary my environments, changing the number of nodes and changing the topology. Okay. So this is what I will choose here in the parameters. If you want to, for example, have topologies or two different topologies, you can put it here both I can put it here A11. I also can put it here, for example, 36 and 100 nodes if I have a topology with 100 nodes. So this is important to understand about the nomenclature. Okay, so everything is set here. The next step is to run the simulation script. So let me go here to this folder, IDIT-SDN simulation. All the results of the simulations will be here in this folder. Okay. So I already have some simulations in case you want to check the results. So let me paste this in another folder. The new results will be pasted here in this folder, and you will have something like this. Since I run three in parallel, you will have three controllers, 3 logs for the Kuja, and 3 mode outputs. This is one for each simulation. Okay. So here in this one, you will have the output of the controller server, and in this other, you will have the output for the modes, which is what is running Kuja. Okay. So let's go to run the script. Let me go to IDIT-SDN and then simulation. In this part, what you have to do is to just execute the run simulations script. So the script will start compiling all the firmware that will be uploaded to the nodes. After this, well, and this is also in the installation guide, after all the compilation and after when you start to, well, if everything was okay, you will see a wait message. And this wait message will put the process where the simulations are running. Okay, so let's give this just a few seconds and you will see the last, the message that you will expect to know that everything is going well. Okay, so you will see something like this, but this is not, there is something else that it is important to check to see if everything is going well. So you can go to the results and you need to check that you have the 9 documents in this case, because you are running 3 in parallel. So the number of instance that you want to, or that you can run in parallel will depend on the computer that you're using. For my computer, the 3 is okay for 36 nodes. Okay, so first you can check if the output is okay. So for this, I'm gonna use Glock. This is very useful. And you will see here the how this is going, how this is the output of the nodes. And here you can check how the lines are increasing, and the modification of this one was well, you can check the date here. So here you can see, well, I think that this now you have more lines here. Well, this is something that you can check, and this is uploading in real time. Let me see. Uploading, no, updating, sorry. Well, let me see the other one. Okay, here you have more lines, right? And here. Okay, here you can see how this is increasing, these lines. Okay, so here is going well. Let me check this. So if to know that everything is going well, you need something like this. In some cases, it will remain here for a few moments. Then it will go to this part, and after 30 seconds, 1 minute, you will need to see something like this. This is the configuration, right? Okay. You will see here how this is working. This is the number of lines increasing in real time. Okay, so this is the tutorial to about the installation guide, and I hope this will be very useful for you. And if you have any doubt about how to use this framework, well, don't hesitate to contact me. See you later.